Welcome everyone to the final session in the FSI track. My name is Padmapriya Seshadri. I am a solution architect with AWS, working very closely with a lot of FSI customers. In this session, I'm going to be speaking about modernization and transformation of core systems in the FSI space. I also have with me Dennis Omila, the Chief Technology and Operations Officer of Union Bank of Philippines. He'll be coming on to the stage and sharing with us very interesting insights about how they achieved this journey. The session is broken down into 4 parts. The why is core modernization even relevant for your company, for your organization, what approaches you could possibly undertake, the case study of Union Bank of Philippines, followed by some best practices. We all work in the FSI track. I'm sure we all work with some of the core systems. When I say core systems, these are the systems that provide basic business functionality, such as cards, loans, trade, insurance policy systems, claims, what have you. Based on your experience that you have worked with those, I do have a couple of questions for you. How many of you find that the systems, the core systems that you work with are truly elastic? You can go set up a campaign or a promotion, and that system is absolutely able to scale and meet the demand. Please put up your hand if you find that your systems are truly elastic. One hand? No. Second question. How many of you find that these systems are able to help you with your agility requirements? You are able to go up to your lead developer and say, hey, I've got this feature, and have it built in the next 2 weeks or even a month perhaps. How many of you find that this is truly agile, your core systems? Put your hand up. Well, you're actually not alone, yeah? 95% of the financial institutions are not satisfied with their core systems. That's a huge number, 95%. 63% of the financial leaders know for a fact that unless they modernize their core systems, they will not be able to retain the competitive advantage. And this comes like no surprise, right? Because of all the IT spend that happens, a small portion, 33%, is going towards transforming. So what it means is over the years, there's a lot of accumulation of technical debt that's happening, and that's making these systems harder and harder to work with. So those were some of the intrinsic reasons, but let's look at some external factors and pressures that are coming through. Firstly, it's from the customers themselves. They're demanding for experiences that are more personalized and holistic. From the board, they're demanding for lesser and lesser operational costs. And thirdly is from the regulators, a greater transparency, better reporting, and also a greater control on the customer data. So all this is making our customers look at cloud and see if they can retire the technical debt, whether it's mainframes they're using, whether it's high-performance computing that they're using, or even other core legacy systems. They're looking to move away from the expensive licenses, go for pay-as-you-go models, build platforms that help them to build or create products which are innovative and quicker and faster time to market. So if you look at what approaches do you have only one approach? Absolutely not. There are different reasons you might want to consider different approaches. There are what we call as 3+1 approach. The first is augmenting your core. You're leaving your core as is, but you're probably adding a layer on top of it. Migrating your core, which is lift and shift. Thirdly, it's modernizing your core. And fourthly, forget about migration. You're not carrying anything from anywhere. You're just launching something new. So I'm going through the details of each one of them. When it comes to augmenting your core, this is typically undertaken by companies which are unable to modernize their core systems for one reason or the other. Maybe they have invested very heavily already, or the time's just not right. And what they do is leave the core as is, build an overlay of cloud-native services on top to enable maybe APIs, better integration, a better UX, a modern experience for their customers. Although this approach is rather quick, they're able to implement it quickly, But the issues come in because the back-end systems will still not be able to support the changes and requirements and may need further workflows, whether it might make it brittle or it might be just more manual. The second approach, the migration of the core, this is in fact one of the first steps that a lot of companies take up when they're first transforming their core systems. They're doing a lift and shift, going into the cloud. It helps them to immediately reduce their on-premise footprint. It helps them to get the business profitability because they're able to use a different form of licensing or probably pay-as-you-go model as well. But they still need to modernize it completely to get the complete benefit of using a much more modern and efficient solution. The third approach is modernizing the core, where you're replacing your existing solution with a fully cloud-native solution. This is a large transformation. It is quite complex, and it is taken up by companies which do find that their core solutions are inadequate, are not able to handle what requirements they have. The advantages that they do have is that they have a world-class solution. Their developers are much more nimble. They're able to have the process automation and agility that they require. The disadvantages are such that it is a large and complex process, and this would also take them a lot of time to get this done. We have a lot of help, thankfully. A lot of partners in AWS who are ready to come in and help you on this, whether it's core banking, whether it's payments, loans, trade, what have you. You can pick and choose for each of the capability that you need and out of this ecosystem and go ahead and build it. With this, I actually request Dennis to come onto the stage and go through the story of Union Bank of Philippines.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Happy to be here. Thank you for having me. Just a short introduction about Union Bank of the Philippines. We're number 7 largest publicly listed universal bank, excluding the government banks, number 5. But we're actually a very young bank. Most of the banks are like 100+ years in the Philippines. Us is a little over 40 years, so still very young. We have the highest total shareholder return among publicly listed banks and other stuff. We never grew our branch network, while you can see it there. When I came in to today, it actually shrunk, but the business kept growing. It was very difficult because in the Philippines, putting up more branches means you get more clients, etc. So we were trying to go against the tide even before the pandemic. I'll discuss more. So most notable is that we've won Best Digital Bank for the 5th straight year from Asset AAA. I just heard fairly recently, yesterday, that we've won a 6th award. We'll get it in Hong Kong 2 weeks from now. It's very hard. When we won the 3rd consecutive year Best Digital Bank, it's like, what's next? We've transformed the branch, we've done mobile check deposit, digital account opening, no paper on our branches, there are events being done in our branches, there are cocktails in our branches, really transformed. But to get to 4th, 5th, and 6th, really difficult. So, but in a nutshell, it's because we have lots of capabilities. That's why we say, we're actually a technology company. By the way, we're also a bank. So that's how we... Now, why am I saying about all these awards? I actually stopped counting. Normally, every year I count. I stopped counting at like 100 plus from 2023. Not to boast about it, because I tell my team, doesn't matter. Even if you have 1,000 awards, doesn't matter. Thank you, because I think other people are recognizing what we're doing is going somewhere else. But I think your digital transformation needs to have a purpose. And this is what it is. No, we call it Moonshot to Financial Inclusion. So in the Philippines, there's about 113, probably 114 million by now, because our population keeps growing so fast. The mobile subscribers is 168 plus million. Some dual SIM, but some are actually fraudsters with prepaid cards doing smishing, so hopefully we can knock them off. The funny thing is, the Philippine economy has been growing, really, to be honest, like second in the region before pandemic, and now it's like back to that level. The sad thing is, it's not trickling down to the masses. So this is what we're aspiring for. So at the end of the day, even if we get 1,000 awards, maybe 10th straight best digital bank, but if we're not making a dent on the lives of the Filipino people, we're a failure. That's our measure, and that's why they say, Dance, what's happening? Your best digital bank. How come you act as if there's no tomorrow? I said we have to get there. So by the way, when I came, about 77% of Filipinos are still unbanked. No wallet, no electronic wallet, etc. That's how bad it is, right? So, and that's why we had to do the moonshot. So the good thing is, so we started with this, we did digital account opening, etc. And then the pandemic happened. The good thing is they can stay at their homes, open an account at the comforts of their home, get a check, take a picture. Now they have cash in their account, then they can do remittance, transfer, bills payment, etc. So it really helped us a lot. So you'll see it here. But we had this discussion about, so why do you need to move to the cloud? I don't know, some of you are maybe assessing, should I, etc. and all that. Bottom line, I had a discussion with the board and our management committee. I said, what used to be won by the biggest will now be won by the fastest. It's not about big or scale. It's about, are you going to be fast? Because, things happen so fast. Pandemic happened, and how fast can you adapt, right? So that's what's happening. And my colleague Chris was talking about DevSecOps. We are able to do releases every 2 weeks. But we were not contented. We said we have to be able to do it per day, like no-code programming. So there are capabilities that we're trying to build on to get there. We kind of knew that after the first wave or second wave of our journey, that what got us here won't take us to the next level. The one on top is what you see. These are the sexy things. These are the things you hear in conferences like this, customer-facing. But the not-so-sexy things, which is the huge amount of work, is actually what's underneath. Okay, so I'll take a bit of time on this slide. I'll share some of the things that hopefully you can take home. First, board. If you don't have board support, forget it. It will die. It will die. So I had to talk to the board. I said I have to, beat the bull by its horns, and then I have to talk to them and, guys, we're going to do this. We're fortunate, we're blessed. After the discussion, our board is, number one, very long-term thinkers. Okay? They're willing to sacrifice dividends. You have to invest. We want to get there, even if it means we're no longer there by that time. We want you to build a bank of enduring greatness. So, of course, not many people are like this. I've seen the other boards of the other institutions. They're like, don't rock the boat. Let the next wave of people do this. But ours is different. And they were humble enough to understand we have to transform as a board. They understood we cannot be the board that we are. And that's why we have what we call the future-ready board. And they're learning about, AI. One time we created avatars for them. You can talk blockchain. They are learning it, so they're understanding the impact. You have to have that conversation with the board. There's no shortcut. You have to let them understand the vision. So that's the first one. The second is the savior mentality. So normally, someone will say, we want to go digital transformation. Chances are, lots of percentage, they'll get someone from outside to do the transformation for them. You might be one of them. You're taken in, transform. So unfortunately, sometimes, people that comes in, they have this savior mentality or the messiah mentality. I'm the guy who knows it. You are legacy. We're going to replace you. We're going to show you the new way. Recipe for disaster. We took a different path. We knew we had to respect the people who took us to where we were, okay, it's very important to be involved in that transformation and not polarize the organization, but harmonize it. And sometimes, it's a conversation you have to have with your mancom. I had to talk to my people, and I said, I'm here, I'm new. By the way, I'm not a banker. I just joined, I was an entrepreneur for many, many years, became, joined the telco, so I'm not a true-blooded banker when I came in. But when I came in, I said, guys, I'm not here as your savior. I need your help. So this is a different approach that we've done. But I've seen a lot where Messiah mentality, polarizing, didn't understand the BAU team is very important for your transformation. Next one, all in. So a lot of people are looking at, do I do everything? Or maybe the customer facing I put in the cloud. When I looked at it, I said, it won't work. It's either you're all in or not. You have to make a bold decision. If you're still thinking about, should I do it? Really? Even my core banking? My answer is yes. I have to be bold to tell you yes. You worry about how. By this time, you should be done by why should I do it? Because there's no way you're going to get there without going to the cloud. That's my view. I may be wrong, but that's my view. It's the how. Focus on the how. And there are lots of things by which that can be done. Right? Be careful because there's a way of being able to do this. If your tech people are not clear about what their new relevance would be, they will be very creative in convincing you that bare metal, running it in a data center, is more cost-effective. Because there are very creative ways of showing a business case, right? But I'm telling you not from, calculations, etc. I'm telling you from actual experience because I've gone through it before. I'm doing it a second time. Actual results, okay? But be careful because sometimes, your unit price goes low, but because of cloud adoption, your total cost still goes up. You must enforce some governance, optimization, again, focusing on the how. But don't let it derail you. Sometimes there are those discussions and you think about, okay, should I go all in? But, there is such a problem, forget it. It's like you're going to be too late by that time. Next one, partners. Okay. So when I came in, I saw that it cannot be the blind leading the blind. We had to get, while we invested Amazon's professional services, I'll tell you more of the story later, but people are going to be afraid. If I'm a sysad, what I do is, I'm very good at comparing like what's the best storage, what's the best compute, etc. In the cloud, I don't know, and if I'm afraid, I don't know how that's done, and who's going to lead them? They might have read it, you might have attended this, but if you haven't gone through the process, it's totally different. Get people who I call are battle-scarred. They've done it, have seen what worked, what did not work, what to watch out for, to guide you in the process. It cannot be the blind leading the blind. And the last one is nobody gets left behind. So we've shown in our transformation, people using, we did videos. So I'm doing this role. My role is no longer existent. When I heard about it, I cried. I don't know. But now I was trained. Now I'm in this new role. I'm able to provision 75 instances in the cloud already. We're showing it so that people begin to see that we're serious when we say nobody gets left behind. And these things must be clearly communicated so that there is a psychological safety. Then people are going to help you, not resist you, because they know that this is working, this is going to work, right? Okay, just very quickly I ran through this. So our approach to cloud-native core banking, we're using Finacle. We're moving to Finacle 11, which is re-architected microservices. It will address a lot of our challenges right now because, like, our InstaPay is the one that that's like I don't know, equivalent in Singapore for electronic payments. If it goes up only that module, not not the entire thing, right? So the scalability of microservices and all. But just to let you know, we also migrated Temenos through one of our subsidiaries in the cloud. We also have Thought Machines, so I have very rich experiences about different types. I know, about the new kids on the block and those that are like leading it. Feel free to have an open discussion with me. I won't deal with this too much. It's basically the end result. It's the scale to demand. Maybe I'll just focus on what I call virality. We can never do it, and we said we're gonna die if we don't go to the cloud because, somebody posted our digital account opening in YouTube during the pandemic, and he said, "Oh, I can open an account," and the numbers just go this way, and all our capacity management that says, "Oh, our growth rate is this, etc." is gone, and then it will not sustain. It will go down. It will not go to this level, goes like this, and then goes like this. How do you do that in the bare metal? Good luck. You can't, right? And you have to be prepared if you're serious about this growth. So, by the way, we're now at like close to, if not a little more than 12 million. So, getting to our moonshot. But we want to get there, not just us, but the entire industry. Even the fintechs, we embrace it. We have a different mentality there. We partner with them. We expose our API so they can use it in their app. They can use our capabilities as well. Why Finacle? I've discussed it. It's re-architected microservices and just focusing on one. There are new kids on the block, new features, cool features. But as I've said, sometimes you have to respect the experience and expertise of those that's been there focusing on it. So Finacle, for example, if you try to change the balances on the database level, system administrator change it, the application will not accept it because it knows it's not coming from the application. This is deep, deep knowledge. Some of the, it's cool, you can reconfigure, but if they don't have this, you may have a problem. So be careful also. Faster reduction. Right now, we're still 100% in terms of our SLA. We have 1,000 instances already in Amazon. So just my last two slides for people. We have trained 1,558 people. It's still growing. So this is where our professional services and our partners, like Red Hat, Questronics, and eCloud Valley, has been helping us to really develop new ways of working and new roles. So it's not a tech project. Our internal audit, security, etc., all of them were transformed. So our security people now knows how to check for security on the cloud. Our risk people, our audit were like, how do I do maker checker? What are you talking about? This is so. But we trained them. You'll see it there. So we trained them. So they now have new ways of working. They're included in the program. The SteerCo is not, is business, risk, audit, etc., including the regulatory bodies. So that's it. Thank you very much. I'll turn you over to Priya for the best practices. Thank you.
Dennis has given us a lot of best practices from an organizational perspective as well as an ecosystem perspective, right? This is fantastic stuff. This is more from a practitioner lens, where you're talking about core modernization. It's not just one system or two systems. You have a number of connected systems upstream and downstream. A thorough impact analysis is required and well planned ahead. We should be able to figure out which ones you will probably want to carry ahead and which interfaces you want to keep rigid and which one you want to be flexible. So that planning is really required so that you can scope it and go ahead with your plans. The observability aspect, yes, it is very important in the new system, but it's also important to have the observability in the older system to understand, which features were even being used. These are 20 plus years of legacy data features. You might just have that conversation with the business if it even makes sense to migrate that particular feature to help you scope it out. Testing is a large part of modernization when you're talking about core systems. The complexity involved, whether it's creation of test data, execution of test data, validation of testing, having this running in a very repeatable process in multiple iterations is what you need to be able to deliver so that your product and your releases of quality. Finally, it's being able to experiment with robust deployment strategies, whether it's rollback features, A/B testing, feature flags, to be able to know what it is that finally the customer is going to get. With these, I kind of conclude this session. Please give us your feedback. It'd be lovely to understand how we could improve. If you do want to connect with us, there are LinkedIn profiles of myself and Dennis on the screen. So please do connect with us and ask us a question or two if you have. Thank you so much. Thanks.